Welcome to the Mom Owned and Operated Podcast, the podcast about moms and for moms, where we have candid conversations about running a business, raising a family, and remembering ourselves. I'm your host, Rita Suzanne, a single mom of four, digital strategist, and provider of no-nonsense business strategies and tactics. Hi, this is Rita Suzanne, and today I have my guest Kylie Clark with me. I'm so excited to chat with you today, Kylie. Please tell everyone about you, your family, and your business.
Hey, Rita. I am so excited to be here today. Thank you for having me. So I, of course, am Kylie, and I'm a certified director of operations, a business mapping strategist, and founder of Frazzled to Freedom Consulting. Frazzled to Freedom Consulting is actually a 2-for-1 service where we offer business mapping, which is business planning, and financial planning for our clients that are needing to do a major overhaul on how they run their business in the day-to-day. They are more established in their entrepreneur journey, and they have hit the wall on how much time they can keep giving in their business. They're completely overwhelmed and ready to make some changes.
Yeah. So how long have you guys been in business?
I've been in business since the beginning of 2020, I believe. Shannon's probably about the same. I haven't asked her actually. But yeah, so personally, I am born and raised Arkansas girl. I have 3 children, one who's fixing to be 17, as much as that breaks my heart. My daughter's fixing to be 12, and my youngest son is fixing to turn 6. And I've been married almost 15 years to my very best friend, who spoils me rotten. And we have one fur baby who rules the roost.
And okay, so let's start by talking about some time management stuff, because that's what everyone needs, right? They're overwhelmed. They come to you. They want some business mapping. What do you do? What do you start with?
So, time management is very near and dear to my heart, and I don't really care what they call it. I don't care if they call it work-life balance or harmony or integration or flow. I don't care what it's called as long as you get it, because 9 times out of 10, by the time my clients find me, they have done everything else in the books. They have hired multiple people. They've hired coaches. They've hired, but bought every template under the sun. But the problem is no one asks where they're going, what their specific vision is in their business. Is it more important to have freedom and flexibility and purpose, or is it more important to hit 8 figures in the next year and invest 80 hours a week? Where do you want to be in your business? And so you can take all the templates, you can do all the Google rabbit hole searches that you'd like to do, but if you're not really doing it for you and your business, you're not going to get the answers that you're looking for.
Right. I think that's super important, that a lot of people look for just very general solutions, and even a lot of coaches provide very general solutions. And I think that customization is super important because, like you said, like nobody else has the situation that I have, right? And so what works for this person over here is not going to work for me. And maybe my definition of balance is not the same as yours.
Exactly. I have actually read several posts over the last couple of weeks that are deeming work-life balance or anything of the sort as unrealistic and fake and unattainable. And I'm here to tell you it's not, because I live it in my life. I mean, this is what I have built my business around for. And the reason that I think that they are saying that is it's because they picture work-life balance as a 50-50 structure, one size fits all, and it's anything but. Work-life balance to me could be completely different than what work-life balance to you would look like. And that's why you have to have a customized plan. You have to have your own boundaries, your own time management process, your own business plan that's going to align with where you're trying to do. My idea is for my business is 10 to 15 hours a week. I schedule my meetings on one day. I do in-house work on one day. I do client work on one day, and so you have to really prioritize what's important to you at that moment. If you sit down and you have your list and this is what I'm going to do today, you're going to save time because you're not finding the next shiny object to go down the rabbit hole to find out about, or you're not going to instantly respond to that email as soon as it pops up because you have a time frame. You have that time block of, hey, I'm going to check my email at this time each day. So it kind of gives you that release that you need to say, I heard my email go off, or I heard that text message, but I'm going to check it when I have time to check it. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing.
Why are your notifications even on? First of all. But my thought as you were speaking is that maybe they don't think that work-life balance is possible because they have never been able to achieve it, right? And the fact is that you have achieved work-life balance. I have now, eventually, finally, after all of these years, and it is possible, but maybe for them, it's just not possible. So they shouldn't, I think, make these blanket statements of it's not possible. It's just not possible for you.
Well, and it's not even that. It's their priorities are different. Their priorities are, hey, I'm going to make 8 figures in the next 12 months, and I'm going to add 6 more launches, and I'm going to try every different strategy in the book to make this happen. Whereas most of the people that come to me, I'm looking for stability. I don't want to be the next guru. I don't want to be the next person that made $1 million in the last 10 minutes. I want stability. I want to be able to take time with my kids. I want to go on vacation. I want to have purpose in what I'm doing in my life. I want to be fulfilled. And what they don't realize is most of the time, once you start aligning everything like that, the money comes. Mm-hmm. And it may not be the next 10 minutes, but it's going to come. And you're going to feel happy about it. You're not going to grit your teeth thinking, oh my gosh, I have to complete X, Y, and Z. No, it's not going to feel like work because it's something that you truly are passionate about. It's your zone of genius. It doesn't feel like work because it's so easy. Yeah, and that's what I tell.
Burnout.
yeah, and that's the thing, and that's where I started. The reason I started my business is because I was burnt out in working 9 to 5s and being the person to do it all, and it cost me my health for several years. And so when I started my business, I chose flexibility and freedom over money. And I still live by that to this day. Money is always nice and it's always helpful. And I mean, we're here, we have to have money to keep going, but you found after a while that those clients that don't align with you are not worth the money. They're not worth the stress.
Yeah, because I think that if you sacrifice yourself, your, time and or like your health, then, I mean, what's the point of doing this? Most of us started our businesses. And when I say that, I'm saying entrepreneurs, small business owners who have, smaller businesses because we wanted to be at home with our children. We wanted to, to be there for them as they were growing up. I know that's why I started my business, so that I could be home with them, because I would cry when I would drop my kids off at daycare, because I had went through 5 years of infertility and I wanted my kids so bad, but I still had to work, so it was like, I have to come up with something. I have to find a way that I can be with them. But then when I created my business, I wasn't there with them. I was in the house, but I wasn't there.
That's a big thing too, because I think all of us, when we started our business, even when starting mine with the best intentions, I found myself at my computer 24/7, and I couldn't really say I was accomplishing anything. I was just there. And so, you have your children that, hey, mom, I need this. Hey, mom, I need that. And you're like, okay, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. And it's not until you finally wake up and you're like, oh, wait, I'm not doing what I said I was going to do. I'm actually making everything a lot harder on myself. And so by the time I found the DOO certification, I had already found my problems of doing all of that. I just didn't know how I was going to fix them. And after listening to Natalie, I was like, this is exactly where I'm going to be. Still didn't know exactly how I was going to help others doing that. And I don't know, some of you may have heard my story of how I came up with Frazzled to Freedom, but it was then that it resonated with me. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm going to do for others. I'm going to help them build their own version of what their vision of their business looks like. Because when we started our business, it wasn't because we were so excited to do the mundane day-to-day tasks that you have to do to make a business function. No, we were picturing, hey, I'm going to be on the beach with my kids, with a little fruity drink and umbrella, and my kids are going to be building sandcastles, and my business is going to be running itself in the background, and allowing me to live a comfortable life. And then we find ourselves every day in front of our computer. And once you realize that you can have it, you just have to have it structured. It has to be a main goal for you in your life. You can do tiny tweaks each day. And that's what I tell people all the time. It doesn't matter if you're just starting your business, and it doesn't matter if you are an established business owner running a 5, 6, 7 multi-figure business. It is never too late to start implementing time management and start one step at a time. You can start today with your boundaries. What are my boundaries going to be? What is it that really annoys me when this happens? A lot of times it's communication, because they have 12 different ways that people are going to connect to, come to them. And so they feel like they're on call 24/7. So, okay, I'm going to narrow this down. My team members are going to contact me this way, and my clients are going to contact me this way. I usually recommend anything task related stays in the PM, in the project management. It's a lot quicker way to get things done. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows where to go to find it. Another issue is boundaries. They say what they want, but they never implement what they want. And it's something so simple that would take you 5 minutes and save you a lot of headache. With my clients, I have a How I Work page. So this is what you can expect when you sign on with me. I work Monday through Thursday, and these are my business hours, and these are my contact hours, and this is my turnaround time. And, I lay everything out for them, so there's no confusion. Everybody knows what to expect. Mm-hmm. And so if you know what to expect, there's no miscommunication. So my time management board that I have shared with you, it hits on a lot of this, and I've actually added Loom videos to help people walk through, because if I'm going to give something to my potential clients or people that's just in a bind and really just need something to do now, I'm going to give it with value. And so I've walked them through with questions. Feel free to add your own questions that pop up, but it's a good starting point where you can build your own plans for things to do today. And delegating is another huge thing. Most people don't delegate because they don't know how to delegate, or they don't feel like if they do delegate, they're going to get it done correctly, and they'll just have to do it again. So they might as well just do it themselves. And there's a lot of helpful tips on delegating that goes mainly back to SOPs. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there's just so many things.
I love SOPs because, when you bring somebody on your team or somebody leaves your team, then there's a lot less of that downtime where somebody has to learn the new thing. And so I love that. I want you to tell us some strategies for time management that you love and recommend, because I know you say that, some of these things, they're so little, they can roll into and gain momentum. And I love that. So what is maybe 2 or 3 little things that you would recommend for some time management?
Time management. Okay, so my first thing I like to throw out there is over documentation. And people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that. But when you go into your project management tools, especially when you have a team and you have multiple people coming in and out of these tasks, and there's multiple questions, if you have, like I'll use an agency for instance. If you have an agency and so you have a lot of different balls up in the air, and you have a team member working with a certain client and they are supposed to check their emails twice a day. Well, in your project management hub, if you have it set up correctly, because you need to have your own hub and the client needs to have their own hub. And I can't stress that enough. I've come into the business and they don't have anything in their hub. So you have no proof of what you've actually completed for the client if you do sever ties. So anyway, do that. So if Sally comes in and she checks 3 emails and there's a high priority email that she has sent to that client, then she needs to come back to your main business hub and say, hey, I checked the emails and I sent a high priority email to the client, and put a timestamp with it. Project management, when they come in and they need to see what's being updated on this task, if it's been done, if it's been done correctly, or a client says, hey, I missed this very important email. Nope, it shows Sally sent it to you at this time. Same with after a day, after the day, or Sally's out sick and Susie has to come in and check. They know exactly where it's been left off. They know exactly where to pick it up. The SOPs for each SOP, for that task, I put it inside the task card. I use ClickUp. So I put it inside the task card, and that way you don't have to go to Google Drive. You don't have to go anywhere else, because all of the information you need for that client and how to complete that task is right there at your fingertips.
Right.
But as for you, as a business owner yourself, something I would start today is, I like to do theme days in my schedule. So Mondays will be a team meeting and my in-house days. So I like to have everything started off. Everybody knows what we're going to have accomplished for the week and everything's delegated out. And then the rest of the day, I'm going to focus only on the things I need to get done within my business. And that's usually a no contact day for me.
Yeah.
Tuesdays, any client work that needs to be done, I get that done. Thursdays are my podcast or connection calls, client calls, any camera facing things that I need to make happen. And so I just have different things. I work Monday through Thursday. And that way I know exactly what to expect each week. I know that if something pops up, which day would be better. Okay, this is the day that I have a little more flexibility. I schedule my self-care throughout the day. So if I want to take a 30-minute walk, I'm going to add that to my schedule, and that's going to be a non-negotiable. I'm going to schedule my lunch each day. I lay out in the pool for an hour in the mornings, and that's one of my de-stress times. And I may listen to a podcast or, usually music while I'm out there. I spend time with my grandfather and my dad every single day. I am out there on the farm, helping them or mainly watching them. So it's just all about what's important to you and how are you going to make that happen.
Right. And I think that that's the most important part, like how to avoid burnout. How do you get balance? All that stuff is managing your time. You're delegating tasks. You have your goals laid out. You know exactly what you're doing. I think that for me in the past, I wasn't delegating very
Mhm.
well, right? I had no clear goals set up in mind, and I was working nonstop all the time. So I used to do theme days too, but what would happen to me is like, oh, I set this day up. This Tuesday is supposed to be all about me building my business. And then a client emergency would come up, and I would feel like, no, I have to work on my client project because I didn't get as much done as I should have before that. What would you say if that was continuously happening with your clients?
Um, Usually you're in reactive mode whenever
Mhm.
whenever that happens, and the reason that is occurring in your business is because there is a missing link somewhere within, whether it's a SOP, whether it's a boundary, whether it's you're not giving enough time in an area that you need in their business. And sometimes it's not even you, it's your clients working in reactive mode. And all of a sudden they have a fire burning because they are doing it last second. And so that's something I always look at first is I have X, Y, and Z to do, and I have my schedule that I need to complete, but, like you said, my client just messaged, they have a fire going and I've got to be the one to put it out. Why do they have a fire?
Mhm.
Your fire or is it their fire? Because then we need to have a discussion of
How is
what,
my problem now?
and so we need to have a discussion on how are we going to prevent their problems becoming your problems. Yes, you work with them, but that does not mean that you are on call 24/7 for them.
Right.
And
I think a
so
lot of service providers struggle with that though, because they feel like they need to do whatever their clients ask them to do. They struggle with setting boundaries. And I know that before I quit design, that was one of the things I think that was causing an issue for me. Not that I wasn't setting boundaries, but all of a sudden that I was.
yeah,
And it became like she's no longer I I don't know, agreeable or
right.
something, right? She's no longer a team player.
That's the hardest part is doing it after you sign on with a client. If you start out that way, um, then they know what to expect. But if you all of a sudden, here are my new boundaries, here are my new work hours, here is this and this and this, that is when you're going to have a little bit
Pushback.
of resistance. And so that requires a call. And you're going to turn this around into why this is positive for them. This is why you're going to love my new how I work schedule because I'm able to invest these solid hours only to you.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of turn it into a positive. Um, and you're exactly right. We turn into yes people at some point in our business. And no matter if we've been a yes person our entire life or now we're an entrepreneur and we're kind of getting a little bit of the scarcity mindset because we are dependent on them for living our
Mhm.
lifestyle, um, we can fall into that. And so the thing that I always say is don't put all your eggs in one basket, diversify. Even if you have this amazing client that gives you zero problems, you don't want them to be your only source of income. Um, or you need to be able to invest enough back into your business to keep people coming to you. I'm not. Um, I was having to think if me and you were having that conversation or not. It wasn't us. I'm not one of those that goes into DMs and constantly markets myself. I
Hmm.
prefer people to come to me through my post and wanting to get to know me and make a connection. And so that's another thing I find that's really burning people out is you're constantly reaching out. They're constantly doing the work to make people come to them. Whereas if they got straight on their goals and they chose one or two forms of visibility that makes sense for them, like not what the next guru says, not for how so and so grew their business, what feels most comfortable to you and what makes sense to you. knowing what to prioritize. If you have problems with setting goals, brain dump. What do you need to make happen in the next month or even quarter? What do you need to make happen? Write those down. Now let's prioritize them from most importance to least importance. Take that top number one priority and you're going to make a plan for it. What steps need to happen to complete this project? There's your plan. Only focus on that until it's complete. And then you go to number two. And that's where our DNA kind of steps in as women, and we have to do all of it. If I have 3 priorities, I have to do all of them at the same time because then, I'll get it done faster. And that's not true. It's already been proven time and time again. If you focus on one thing at a time, you are not only going to complete it earlier, you're going to give tons of value with it and be happier with the result than having to do all 3 and you're just, I have to get it done by deadline or I'm just sick of it. I'm just going to throw things in there.
Okay. So you mentioned briefly about your freebie that you have for everyone. Tell us a little bit more about that. What's included in it? What is it?
So I have a Trello board that is specifically focuses on time management, boundaries, time blocking, self-care, delegating. And so I have Lim videos. It kind of walks you through, gives you a few prompts, your mission, vision, values, whether you have those already set in your business or you just need to kind of redefine them. I have prompts in there for that. If you decide that you need some of that back and forth, you need more strategy and brainstorming and help with prioritizing your next 3 goals, reach out to me. Let me know that you came through Rita's podcast and I will reduce the price for you. And if you think, hey, I need 30 minutes. I just need 30 minutes to kind of clear my head and get a little bit of clarity on what my next goal should look like or what I need to do to delegate in my business or time block in my business. I'll send a link to Rita so she can share and I'll do a complimentary 30-minute call for a clarity session.
Nice. Okay. So where can everyone find you online so that they can connect with you or see what you're up to?
I am a little bit of everywhere online, not by choice.
Your favorite platform?
Favorite platform is probably Facebook. And not only will you see a little bit of business, you'll see a lot of personal, my personal life. And that's how I like to keep it. I am very much a authentic person and like to be comfortable with any relationship I deal with.
Yes, you are. And then your website is?
KylieClark.com.
Mm-hmm. Anything else that anybody needs to know? I feel like I'm missing something. Where else are you online?
Oh, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. But Facebook is probably
on Facebook.
Yeah. LinkedIn and Instagram's business only.
Okay.
Facebook is where I live because I'm working.
That's where you're going to see all of Kylie, and I can attest to that. She is amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kylie. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
And there you have it. I want to encourage you to remember that being a mom who runs her own business is not easy. We all struggle, but just keep moving forward and don't forget to make time for yourself. As moms, we are usually the first thing to go to the bottom of the list. If your business is overwhelming you and you need real solutions, not just some sugar-coated suggestions, apply to work with me at ritasuzanne.com/apply.